Hello, it's Pastor Penny, and it's Tuesday, June 2nd. And first, I want to just say that we are having a Theology on Tap tomorrow at 5, and you need a Zoom invitation. And I've only heard from a couple of people, so if you would like to do that, just let me know, and I'll send you an invitation. And I hope you will like to do that because they're always very interesting and fun. So I want to tell you about something that happened yesterday. I was in a line to get into a store that only allowed 10 people at a time, which a lot of them are doing now. They've just opened, and I decided I would wait, and I waited a long time, but I was in the mood for it, and I had a specific thing I wanted to find, and so I got in line, and there were probably 7 people ahead of me, and the lady in front of me was kind of your stereotypical elderly lady. She was short with a kind of a humped back. She had a cane, and she had kind of big sort of orthopedic shoes. And she stood in this line as long as I did, altogether. And then behind me, who got in line right after me, was a lady who you've met them. They are outgoing and start talking right away. And, I was in a pretty mellow mood, and so it was okay. Plus, I don't know. I think I have something on my forehead that says she's okay to talk to. So anyway, this lady and I, she kept talking. Her sister joined her. And after a while, she thought this poor old lady in front of me should be able to sit down. And she was even going to go to another store, buy a chair for this lady, and decided that she wouldn't. So she called into the store. She called on her phone and said, "Could you bring a chair out here for this lady?" And they said, "No, we can't take it outside of the store." It was like, I don't know, 20 feet away, 15 feet away. So they wouldn't do it. And so meanwhile, behind these 2 sisters, there came a tall man, probably between 30 and 40, who makes jewelry, it turns out. And he was African American, and I only mention that because of all the race issues that are so awful right now. And such a nice guy. He makes jewelry. And he was describing how he makes anti-violent jewelry, sort of like, he said, breast cancer survivor kinds of things, but also just anti-violence in different ways. Well, he was worried about getting a particular bus. He talked about taking the bus down the street and going to a different store so he could get his stuff, but then he might miss the last bus to get home. And he actually left and came back. And so this outgoing lady, after a little more time, a little more discussion, just looked on her phone for the last bus, looked at the bus schedule. She was going to take care of everybody. And so I think I was in line for about an hour. And then the old lady in front of me at some point got into, she would respond to some of the conversation, and I mostly listened. And they wanted to know what I did for a living and why do I work in Marshall. And anyway, it was, we got to know each other pretty well, and a lot of personalities were involved, different kinds of personalities, very diverse group. And all that was because I was standing in line to get in a store. And so it just made me think. I mean, sometimes you get involved in some issues where you don't expect to. And I just and then this lady checked again, this one behind me. She was going to stick her head in the door, and there was, of course, someone inside the door monitoring everything, and just ask again if this lady could sit down. No, not until she gets inside. And this lady was okay with it. She stood there the entire time. She was going to have a great time shopping. And anyway, the whole social interaction that was completely unexpected, and the the diversity in our little tiny group was I thought sort of unique, and maybe it isn't, but it was interesting, and it was thought provoking, and maybe we should all be more like the lady behind me and just you have to know when it's okay, but let's just make the world better. Let's take control. Let's find the bus schedule. Let's get this lady a chair. Or I'll go buy one. And so I thought of Micah 6, verse 8, which is a pretty well-known verse, and it's seek justice, love kindness, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. So seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Doesn't that say a lot, especially right now? Are we seeking justice? Are we walking humbly with our God? Do we love mercy? How can you not love mercy, right? So that's my story. And I thought I'd share it with you. Blessings.